One of the other questions we get a lot, even though it may seem pretty obvious, is what are countable assets versus non-countable assets when it comes to Medicaid? Sometimes families think, oh, well, I have a joint account with my son and his name's on it, so that account's not mine. Well, it's actually the opposite. If you're on an account with somebody else, Medicaid still sees that account as being your account. So they don't divide it, they don't attribute it to the other person, they still look at it. If you have access to it, that's your asset. So that's a countable asset. Other countable assets are cash in the bank, 401ks, even if you're still working, IRAs, bonds, any assets, annuities, anything that can readily be converted to cash that you can tap into and access. Mineral rights are interesting. They're considered an asset and an income source. So those are some of the countable assets. Non-countable assets would be things like a home, a primary residence, one vehicle, a properly written funeral plan that designates the right entity the way it's supposed to. And you can even designate up to $1,500 in a bank account for funeral purposes also. We had a situation the other day. We had a client call us and said, I've been denied Medicaid. They told me I had too much money. Well, when we got looking at it, the client told us that they actually had money set aside in the bank account for funeral purposes. And we were able to get Medicaid to recognize those funds as being attributable for funeral. And so we were able to show that they actually were eligible for Medicaid and were able to save about 3 months of eligibility. So there's just little technicalities and things that can happen sometimes. And so if you think you've been told that you have an asset's that's countable or not countable, give us a call. We can go over it with you, make sure you're being given the right information, and we'd be happy to visit with you.